you ever been so done of living in one place for so long? That is exactly what happened to us. We just want to live in a different place. We don't want to live on Earth anymore. This is why we decided that we are going to go to explore another planet. We think that Uranus is a good idea because it is one of the farthest planets away from Earth.
We're gonna be missing sceneries like this, but at the end we will get a lot more. There are two other men coming with us during this trip. Their names are Sean Mendes and Cameron Dallas. The reason we chose these two companions is because they have the ideal age. The age we're looking for because once we're settled, we want to reproduce. Their body mass is perfect for this project.
It is perfect because our unnecessary items shouldn't be heavy so that we can take more supplements of oxygen and explosives. We also need to take the parts of the cold fusion reactor so that we can build it once we get there. They're willing to go explore without the guarantee of ever coming back. They're also mature enough to make their own choices.
I think going with these two companions is really important for us because having more people and more company, it's keeping us from not going crazy. The journey to get to the asteroid belt would take us 20 days. We would survive these by eating and drinking GMOs for astronauts. Once we get there, we would need to launch explosives so that we move around dodging asteroids. We would launch one in the right so that we go to the left and vice versa. This wouldn't be the end of our trip. We would still be missing 20 more days to get to Uranus. Arriving to Uranus would cover most of our expectations from this project, but it will only be the beginning.
The 20-day journey to Uranus is
Asteroid
going to
belt.
be the hardest days because they're going to be the first days and it's when we're going to get to meet our companions. It is also when we're going to be feeding ourselves with GMOs, which is going to be difficult because we're not used to this food.
First, we would need to build the cold fusion reactor. This machine will produce oxygen by making a compound of hydrogens. This reactor needs a source of energy. We would use wind, and this is because Uranus's winds blow at velocities of 40 to 70 meters per second, or 144 to 252 kilometers per hour, which means that a lot of electricity will be produced. After we get the oxygen, we will be able to breathe, but at the same time, we need to be able to drink water. So the next step will be to combine two molecules of hydrogen and one molecule of oxygen, and we would have created water. Some of the risks of this machine are that if we don't build it fast enough, we will run out of oxygen and die. There is also a possibility that the reactor does not work properly, so we would end up dying.
I don't really like the idea that my life is in hands of a machine, but it's the only way to survive in this new planet. Something we would need to think about are Uranus winds. They are so strong that we will be living in a non-stop hurricane. According to Saffir-Simpson hurricane wind scale, a sustained wind that blows from 119 kilometers per hour to 153 kilometers per hour is considered as a type 1, very dangerous and producing some damage. But a wind that blows from 252 kilometers per hour or higher is considered a Type 5 hurricane that can cause catastrophic damage. To solve this problem, we would live in the spacecraft until we build a stable structure outside using materials from the spaceship.
Living in a non-stop hurricane is going to be very hard, but it's something we're going to get used to and we need to adapt in order to live in this planet.
Uranus is located 2.87 billion kilometers away from the Sun. This means that it orbits the Sun every 84.01 years. Uranus is tip on its side, which means that it has 4 seasons. But because the Sun is so far away, the seasons are very long. Each season lasts approximately 20 years.
Our bodies are used to sleeping when the sun goes down, but because in this planet we're not going to see the sun very often, we might need to take drugs in order for our bodies to adjust.
Our food will change drastically because we're used to growing crops using sunlight, but in this planet we would starve if we only ate crops that grow when the sun is out. This is why our diet will be mainly based on crops that grow without sunlight, crops that grow during winter. For example, garlic, leeks, onions, radishes, lettuce, peas, potatoes, chard, spinach, and other leafy greens such as kale.
Because we're gonna be feeding ourselves with winter crops, which are mostly lettuce and spinach. As people on Earth say, we gotta look for the positive side from from everything. So we're gonna get fit, which is a good thing. Sun provides vitamin D, but because we would only see sun 20 years every 84, we would need to take vitamin D pills. Sun also determines our sleep, so we would need to take melatonin to regulate our sleep.
As we start reproducing and becoming a bigger society, we're going to need to set some ground rules. Everyone would have equal power, but because we will be the first people living in this planet, we will make the final decisions.
We're very excited to go to this new planet and start from scratch.
This is a new experience for all of us, and of course, we're really nervous, but it's also really exciting at the same time.